So one of the things I've talked about before and that I'm going to take advantage of talking about again is the idea of using your variables and your naming of things efficiently, and in particular trying to eliminate duplicate code. And so some of you may have seen the video where I showed you this really nifty gingerbread story that stamps out multiple crabs and starfish. And I really love this story for a variety of reasons. And one of the things that they have in this story is the idea that when I run the story, it asks me whether I want to have a gingerbread story where I want to have the story. So I'll say the beach, and I want to have a gingerbread boy whose buttons are going to be yellow. And so now we switched what actually happened right there in the background is that we ran this particular code. It said when I receive color, if the color variable, so I entered yellow, we say if the variable, if what I entered in color was blue, switch to boy blue costume. If it was red, switch to boy red. If it was green, switch to boy green. And so I have this sequence of if conditions that all do basically the same thing and make some big switches. And so what I'm going to show you now is not pointing out that there's anything wrong with this code. It's simply showing you that there's a little slightly more efficient way to run this code. I'm going to stop it. I'm not even going to continue. And the basic idea is that you can sort of manipulate your answers that you're going to look for from your users, and you can manipulate your own names for things to take advantage of the answers you expect your users to give you. So you expected in this the user to give me the name blue, red, green, or yellow. And assuming that nobody has given me a bad command, assuming nobody has given me orange, then color is guaranteed to be blue, red, green, or yellow. In fact, if they've given me orange, we're not going to change the color of the dress or of the boy's buttons at all here. And that's okay for what we're doing now. Now, let me show you a more efficient way to do this. If I go into the boy and I go to his costume, instead of calling it boy green, boy blue, boy yellow, I'm going to rename each of these, right? And so I'm going to come into this one and I'm going to say green. So I'm going to call it just the color of the buttons. And then I'm going to come into this one. Oops, it didn't take there. Let's try this again. Green. So I had to hit the enter command. So now I'm going to come to this one. Come on. And we're going to say just blue. It's a little bit slow today for some reason. Come on, there we go. And then I'm going to come into this one and say yellow. Okay, it appears I have to click in it again and say enter. And so now I don't know why I have to keep clicking in it. Let's try this again. Red, click, return. No, come on, return. So now I've got 4 costumes simply named green, blue, yellow, or red. And so what I can do now is come back to my script where it says color here, and I don't even have to ask a question anymore. I can simply say that when I receive the color command, I want to switch the costume to, and you might not have noticed this because there's a drop down there, and so it doesn't look like you can put a value in there. But notice that the values now are green, blue, yellow, red. I've changed the name of my costumes. Well, since I expect color to be a variable that contains green, blue, yellow, and red, I can simply say switch the costume to color, and I can throw all of this away. And now when I run this again, I get this beautiful ability to tell the story where I can say I have a boy who I want to wear green buttons, and because the variable said green, right, because the color variable here, the color variable said green, I said switch costume to green, and there was a costume green, and so it automatically changed. And I don't have to have the long set of if conditionals there that were still there with the girl, right? I can just say, hey, when I receive color, switch the costume to that color. So with some judicious use of naming, you can make your job a lot easier if you try hard enough.